What is up, you gorgeous, fabulous creatures, and welcome to another week, another day, another episode of the Losing It podcast. You're here with Kylie Pax, Australia's emotional eating coach. And as I always say, I'm thrilled and delighted to be here with you. We're talking today about the 7 signs that you're an emotional eater. Like, I feel like if you're listening to the podcast, it's probably already a given. But I'm going to spell it out for you because I want to see how many of these traits you actually recognize within yourself. And then I'm going to give you the solution for them. Now, if you're watching me on YouTube, you will see that I'm like highly pissed off because I've got a busted camera stand. I've got to buy a new clippy thing for the camera. It's just super, super annoying because it keeps moving. Like, it's all wriggly. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but we're going to do our best. So what I'm going to do is run through 7 major fucking red flags that you are an emotional eater. And then, of course, because we pretty much got that on lock, right? But then I'm going to give you the solution according to which one of my eating codes is going to solve that problem for you the fastest. Because if you've got this problem, I guarantee you it didn't show up yesterday, which means you have been dealing with this crap for an extended period of time. And I'm going to give you the solve like on the spot, something you can implement by the time you walk away from here today. Now, these are definitely not in order of I want to say ranking from most prevalent to the least. These could be showing up for you in any form or fashion, and it might be one. It could be a half of one. It could probably, if you've got a history like mine, it's going to be all fucking 7. Plus all their friends. They've invited all their mates over and the whole mob's there. They're having a corroboree. But let's start with the first one, which is if you're an emotional eater, you will pretty much be guaranteed you've got a really long laundry list of food rules. What I mean by that is maybe this week you can eat carbs, but next week, no, that's not okay. Maybe this week you could, if you're anything like me, I was orthorexic for a while, which while it sounds a little spooky, what that means is I would only eat, instead of being anorexic or bulimic, which I was also ventured into those territories, but then I became orthorexic once I started healing that part of my journey. And that means I would only eat things that were blessed by Himalayan pixie monks, and, you know, it's got to be organic, grown in certain soil from the Tibetan mountains. Really, really strict. You'll know if you fall into this category, because that's also it can overtake your whole life. Like, if it's not gluten-free and you don't have a gluten-free allergy, it's got to be gluten-free, organic, fucking like registered with the Heart Foundation and all the shit, and not touched by pesticides in 100 million years, then that also takes over our whole mind and we become a little obsessed with this stuff. So food rules can definitely look, oh my God, I cannot speak today. Food rules can definitely look like orthorexia. It can look like only being able to eat a certain number of calories at any particular given meal. I used to carry around a little notepad with me because I've spoken about this before. Back in the day, in my day, honey, there was no fucking apps because there was no internet. We actually had to pick up a pen and paper. And I used to buy from like the $2 shop, just really cute, tiny little journals. I mean, palm sized. And I would carry these things around with me in my pocket with a little pen, and every tiny thing that I put into my mouth, I was like one M&M, 25 calories. I would write all this shit down and I would tally it up at the end of the day. And if it came over 1,000 calories, which is highly unhealthy, but I would like completely lose my mind and lose my shit. So then the next food rule would come into effect, which was tomorrow I cannot eat anything except green leafy vegetables or something like that. You know, if you've got food rules. Now, I haven't even thought this through, so I'm going to do this on the spot. If you have food rules, I would say of my eating codes, the one that's going to help you the best, let me think about it. I'm going to run them through you. Oh, this is serious today. I cannot speak. I'm going to run through them for you and let's see which one fits the best. So the first eating code is eat when you're hungry, don't eat when you're not. The second eating code is deciding what it is that you want to eat. This is in their most basic form. I elaborate on these in my free course and in F to Scale, my membership. The third eating code is eating till you're satisfied, not stuffed. So we only eat to 80% full. The fourth eating code is not using food as a way to tune out of your life and your body and your emotions. And then the fifth eating code is act like the person you want to become, which I feel will definitely fit anyone one of these 7 signs. Definitely eating code number 5, act like the person you want to become, would be a great fit here. Because if you are dealing with heavy, hardcore food rules, then it's time to take a step back, like really gather yourself, get your shit together, and ask yourself, does future you, does she tolerate this shit? Does she bend herself into a fucking pretzel in order to get the food that's blessed by the Himalayan monks and only eat the thing with 13 calories or less? Like, does she do that shit? Future you, your ideal dream version of you, or is she living her best fucking life in the strongest, most beautiful, healthiest body that you could be in? Like, that's future you. You want to step up and make the decisions that she would make, and you make them now in real time. The next food rule, the second food, oh, it's not a food rule, the second sign, red flag, that you're an emotional eater is you hide your favorite foods from the rest of the family so that they don't pinch them, they don't nab them and eat them. I still do this. Listen, I still do this with the little children because they will eat my damn food. And I do carefully select the foods that I want to eat. And I have certain things, like I like dark chocolate Kit Kats. If you've ever listened to me, you know that this has been my obsession for years. I could go off on another tangent there because they brought them in about 10 years ago as a limited edition. Limited. So you feel like, oh my God, you've got to eat 10 million of them because they're going to go away. But here we are 10 years later, they're fucking still here. It's not real limited, I've got to say. So I have certain foods that I really like to eat. I have particular chocolate chip cookies. Can't be just any chocolate chip cookie. It's my food rules, right? Can't be just anyone. I've found some that I really like. And it's got nothing to do with calories. It's got nothing to do with anything. You'll laugh. They're actually from Aldi and they are the chunkiest, most chocolatiest. They're really nice. I really like them. So I tell the little ones, don't eat stepmama's cookies. These are mine. But I've got a whole bunch over here for you. Like, don't worry, I'm not leaving them hungry. I've got a whole bunch over here for you. You guys can have all of these, but please don't demolish mine. You can have 1 or 2, but don't demolish them. So if you are finding yourself hiding food from the rest of the family, firstly, because you're scared they're going to eat them, or secondly, because you're ashamed that you have them and you don't want them to see you eating them, huge red flag. Huge red flag. Right here. It's waving in a tornado of wind is that red flag. Now, the eating code that's going to fit the best here, I believe, is eating code number 1, which is, oh, hang on a minute. No, not eating code number 1. Eating code number 2, which is decide what it is that you want to eat. Now, if you've got my free course, I lay all these eating codes out for you in detail with a little workbook as well to go with it. But basically, the way it works is rather than have food stress and worry all day about how can I resist eating particular foods that you really love, eating code number 2 allows you to eat whatever the fuck you want. You just got to plan it for that day. So it would look like you getting up at whatever time you get up in the morning. Let's say you get up at 6:30 and you do whatever you're going to do. If you get up at 6:30 and that's a rush time for you, then get up at 6:27 and take 3 minutes to write down what you want to eat for this day. You write it down on a sticky note, you write it wherever you have to eat it. But it relieves you of food stress in its entirety because you've made the decisions up front. As I often say, 6:30 version of you, 6:30 a.m. version of you has an entirely different mindset to 8 p.m. version of you who is fucking tired, exhausted, and just wants to order Uber Eats. But 6:30 a.m. version of you, she knows. She's all over her shit. She's like, no, I've got dreams, I've got goals, and I've got visions. I intend to stop emotional eating. I'm not going to break my promises to myself today. I am going to make healthy choices. I will be eating the lasagna that I prepared yesterday for my lunch, and then I've got some Mexican for dinner, whatever it is that you're going to have. You can eat whatever you want. You're just giving yourself permission. So eating code number 2 would look like in the snack section, like in my membership site, we have a whole, like we have journals and all the shebang. So in the snack section, you would be writing down, yeah, I want to eat today 2 rows of dark chocolate Kit Kat or half a block of dark chocolate Kit Kat, whatever the fuck, right? Doesn't matter. You're just giving yourself permission. Can you lose weight doing this? Abso-fucking-lutely, because all my women do. I did the whole way down the scale. I ate all my favorite foods. I still eat them. And everybody inside of F the Scale loses weight doing this method. So definitely eating code number 2 would work here. Now, I'm trying to be really mindful of the time, and I feel like we might break this up into 2 sections. So get ready, my babes. I'm about to drop the 3rd red flag that you're an emotional eater and the best solution for it. And then we're going to nip this one in 2, like grab a shiny, glistening pair of sparkly scissors with Swarovski crystals on them, obviously. Obviously, if it's me. And I love it. If it shines and it's blingy, I'm like, gotta have it. So I'm going to give you the 3rd one now, and then we will continue with this one in the next episode on Thursday. The 3rd red flag that you're an emotional eater is you eat an entire meal of bullshit snacks whilst you're waiting for your actual meal to heat up in the microwave. So you're standing there at the fridge or in the pantry whilst the microwave is going heating up your actual food, but you're just like, yeah, mindlessly eating, having some chips, having some crackers. Oh, there's a few bits of chocolate left over there. Oh, I see goldfish over there that the kids have left behind. You just pick and eat, but it's not small amounts. You basically are eating, and I'm going to give an addition to this one as well. You're basically eating a whole meal before you eat your damn meal. And the addition to this would be you're cooking the meal for the family and you're picking so much of it. I better just taste this. I better make sure the mashed potatoes are okay. I'll just check those sausages. Like, you're eating so much of it. You're eating a whole fucking meal before you actually sit down with the family to eat the meal. Huge red flag, huge. You cannot tell me that you haven't cooked sausages and mashed potato enough times to know that it's good, that it's got enough salt, enough butter, enough what the fuck ever you add to it. You can't even, well, Kylie, I have to taste it to make sure it's okay. I'm pretty sure, honey, with your years of experience, you know that it's good enough. And if it isn't, for some random reason, your family will tell you, hey, Mum, this needs a little bit of extra salt. No problem, honey. Here's the shaker. Add it yourself, sunshine. So if this also sounds like you, this would be the best eating code to solve this problem. I think definitely, again, eating code number 2, because if you haven't fucking planned it, you don't throw it in your mouth. You don't throw it in your mouth. And then I would slap on top of this like a sandwich, eating code number 5, act like the person you want to become. Let us reiterate. Would that future version of you who has lost her damn weight, she doesn't emotional eat anymore. She's lost her weight. She's living her dream life. She's feeling fucking amazing and energized every day, probably in her dream job, living in the beautiful house that you're working towards, like all the things. That's her. And it's you in just a few months' time. Okay, once you lose the weight. That's what your future self is. Would she be fucking tasting mashed potato, wasting her precious stomach space on extra mashed potato and tasting the sausages that she's about to sit down and eat in 7.2 minutes? No, she wouldn't. Do you know how I know 100% she wouldn't? She's got higher fucking standards than that. Oh, please. She would not be negotiating with herself and telling bullshit stories. I better taste it. You know, she knows, she knows that it tastes just damn fine. She wouldn't be lowering her standards to that degree. She holds herself in higher esteem than just eating some random shit before she's about to sit down to the beautiful meal. So, honeys, we're going to have to race through, because I want to keep these short and sweet for you and just in bite-sized chunks. The feedback that you guys have been, well, I hate it when people say guys to females. The feedback that you gorgeous ladies have been giving me is that you really like the shorter bite-sized chunks of podcasts, and so do I. I don't have 45 minutes, 60 minutes, an hour and a half to listen to somebody's shit. Like, I was thinking about it this morning. If you came to me and said, Kylie, I've just found the most amazing podcast, this is going to change your life. Be like, great. How long is the episodes? They're 60 minutes. Sorry, I'll just stay stuck as I am, because I'm not fucking giving you 60 minutes of my time. So here it is, in hopefully 10, but usually around 12 minutes or less is your little chunk for the week. So my darlings, if you're enjoying this so far, come back on Thursday. I will have part 2 and we're going to wrap this up with a bow and full-blown solutions to master the entire lot. I'm sending you love as always. Please remember, the only person who has the power to change your life is you. So you got to fucking step up and take ownership of this shit, because when you do that, that's when you've got what it takes. Remember, if you're liking what you're hearing and you want to hear more, please do remember to subscribe and leave me a review. I would be sending you so much gratitude and thanks through the magical vibrational airwaves. And I will see you again on Thursday. Until then, gorgeous ones, bye for now.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to shimmy your butt over to kyliepax.com and sign up for one of my programs so you can start losing your weight now. You'll also find helpful notes and resources in my past podcasts that will help you lose the weight without all the BS drama. I will see you next week.